Philadelphia's week from hell might have just turned the corner. We got some good news on a few injured birds and a forgotten weapon. Plus, Vic Fangio intends to replace Nolan Smith, Tampa Bay's propaganda to make you fear Chris Godwin, while A.J. Brown thinks the offense is about to unlock both the passing attack and Saquon Barkley. Thomas Mott, this is the Thomas Mott Show. The panic level in Philadelphia this week has reached an all-time high. Not only are multiple key Eagles down for the foreseeable future, but practice on Wednesday added fuel to the fire as the linebacker room and cornerback room was seemingly even more decimated. However, apparently today, it's not all doom and gloom. The latest news out of the Birds' practice should have the Bucs a little bit more scared than I first thought. And so to celebrate all the actual good news happening today, let's give you your second chance to enter the Jordan Spector Art Cooper DeJean piece giveaway happening on Saturday's show, so tune in for that. All you gotta do is be one of the 55% who are subscribed and watch daily, drop a like on today's video, and leave a comment. Give me your thoughts on the Birds down below. That will get you entered, and one of you guys is gonna win this bad boy right here. Now, of course, I promised good news, and here we go. All the concern around Zach Bond's massive lower leg brace and Jihaad Campbell standing and watching practice yesterday on Wednesday has officially been dispelled, as today's practice on Thursday revealed both Bond, Campbell, and even Adoree Jackson all participating. Still, they're all limited today, but this is great news trending in the right direction to see them all on the field this Sunday. And honestly, the fact that Campbell is no longer sporting the RoboCop leg jewelry and instead just a simple sleeve, that really makes me feel a lot better than the massive Megatron brace from yesterday. Me personally, I wasn't super concerned about Wednesday's practice of Bond being out and Campbell being out and Adoree Jackson being out because all of them actually played in the game on Sunday. As far as the linebackers went, they finished the game, and so I figured it was probably minor, but it's nice to have a Thursday practice update, and it's all systems go for the Birds linebacker core against what's going to be a very interesting opponent in Baker and the Bucs. I do think Adoree Jackson's return is probably the most surprising overall because he did suffer a groin injury versus the Rams and miss most of the last couple of drives. His status will remain up in the air. He was limited today. He's not guaranteed to play on Sunday. But in terms of the bad injury news, that definitely took a hit as it's all sunshine and rainbows from Eagles practice, which actually isn't done. For example, how about Lane Johnson actually practicing the past 2 days, and now he will officially play on Sunday following a neck stinger that reportedly happened on the first Tush push of the game versus the Rams. The Birds, obviously, as we know, have won 70% of games that Lane plays in compared to just 34 when he's out. Good news there. Likewise, Will Shipley has quietly been a full participant this week and is expected to return on Sunday, adding a little bit of extra boost to the Birds' backfield. On the Bucs front, Baker Mayfield was fine at practice today after there was some concern of him being limited on Wednesday with a minor bicep issue. This is not going to be a problem. The same goes for wide receiver Chris Godwin. He's practiced the past 2 days and is expected, barring a setback, to make his 2025 debut this weekend. I do wonder how effective Godwin will be with his first game back from a very serious ankle injury. Historically, he's been solid versus the Birds and will definitely add a new wrinkle for Fangio to consider this weekend. Either way, though, it could take up until Sunday to know 100% for sure Godwin will play, but sure sounds like Baker Mayfield, for example, is hoping to have number 14 back this weekend.
Just great. I mean, it's just, you know when he's in there, good things are going to happen. He just gets everybody on the same page, whether he's really communicating it or not. He's going to correct if somebody messes up. So he's always great to have in there. So we'll see. Hopefully he can. That's what we're hoping for. But yeah, it'd be great to have him out there.
Of course, in order to stop Chris Godwin, you need to go ahead and have good cornerback play. And so hopefully Quinyon Mitchell can take down him and Ibuka. But as mentioned with Adoree Jackson earlier, his status remains unknown. That does look like we are heading towards a Kelee Ringo start on Sunday. And while I'm not that confident, you might not be as well, Kelee Ringo was asked yesterday his confidence, and honestly, I liked his answer.
I'm a huge believer in what you put in the game is what you're gonna get is what you're gonna get out of it, and I've been putting in time. I just feel like the results are gonna lay where they shall fall, and I've been putting in time for any moment that comes to me. So yeah, I feel like the best thing that you can do for yourself, and opportunities do come, is just stay prepared no matter what that is. So man, not even more somebody else telling you that. Just believing that within yourself. Whenever another opportunity does come, the best thing that you can do, continue to stay ready for it. So
whether for good or bad going forward, Ringo does have a chance this weekend to take back the cornerback 3 job behind Adoree and ahead of Bennett, with Jakorian officially, as we mentioned, going on IR. If Ringo does play well on Sunday, Philadelphia could start feeling a lot better about that backup cornerback depth, something that ESPN hinted yesterday could still be a need for Roseman, when Jeremy Fowler of ESPN wrote, quote, "Injuries over the next month could be the big determining factor, but I usually start the conversations with the most aggressive general managers. Philadelphia's Howie Roseman and Houston's Nick Cassiero have been among the most active deal makers in recent years. While Roseman is usually trying to add, Cassiero and the 0-3 Texans could be a few losses away from wanting to deal players for picks. I still think the Eagles might not be done at cornerback and could survey the market." Howie obviously is never done. He's going to call everybody. Maybe Houston in a couple of weeks could be a team that he calls, Nick Caseros, there's a connection there. C.J. Gardner-Johnson talked about that. But I do think Adoree Jackson's been better than people have given him credit the past 2 weeks. And if he comes back either this weekend or the following weekend and plays well along with Ringo, then the need for a cornerback could be lessened a little bit because Quinn Mitchell has been so good as well. Either way, I'm not expecting a cornerback move, but I'm very curious to see what Kelee Ringo looks like if forced into action this coming weekend. Now, going from the secondary unit to the edge rushers, and as by now you guys are all aware of Nolan Smith's tricep re-aggravation, resulting in him going on IR officially yesterday for at least the next 4 to 5 to maybe 6 weeks. Nolan clearly hasn't been 100% to start the season, and this IR designation feels like a way to maybe get him back close to 100% or that number. Obviously, I'm not saying this is not a huge loss. It is, but I think Howie Roseman did a great job preparing for this situation or other edge rusher problems, as newcomer Za'Darius Smith explained yesterday.
The next man up, obviously, that's an injury that we don't want to happen or didn't want to happen. But, it's football. It's a part of the game, man. But it's going to be now times for guys like Obo, Azeez to basically step up and fill that role, man, and wait till our brother get back.
Ojulari was the Birds' highest paid offseason addition really a couple of months ago. I was pumped for him. Well, he didn't have a terrible camp. He just never really flashed, has been a healthy scratch to start the entire season. My hope now is that Ojulari has made the strides behind the scenes to earn the trust of Fangio, something we will find out starting this weekend because with Nolan out, he is going to play. Although those snaps might be limited, they probably will be, honestly. Za'Darius Smith also confirmed that the only thing keeping him from getting more snaps has been his playbook knowledge, which he says is improving with each passing week.
It's just now me learning the defense of the base defense. Obviously, they had me just working on certain packages now, but it's time for me now to go back to the house and learn the whole playbook, because he was giving me time, week after week, just learn more and more. So now it's just going to be me now learning the base defense.
Personally, Nolan Smith's loss, it's not the end of the world. It's obviously big. You'd rather have him out there than not. But as I said earlier, I don't think he's been 100%. And so my hope now is he rests, become 100%, and then he's the Nolan Smith from the second half of last year going into this season. What we do need, though, is more sacks, mainly from Jalen Carter, Josh Uche, and Jalix Hunt, who's been a little bit quiet to start the season after a very hyped training camp. But we'll see. Another opportunity to get a couple of more sacks this weekend to take on Baker Mayfield and the limited Bucs offensive line. Of course, I can't talk roster moves without mentioning one of the most polarizing of the 8 or so Philadelphia made on Wednesday. That, of course, is the return to the practice squad of wide receiver Quez Watkins, who Bird fans might rightly have some not-so-fond memories of during his time as a, number 2, number 3 receiver in Philadelphia? Here's the deal. First off, Quez, he's not going to get called up to play actual wide receiver on the starting 53 anytime soon. Philadelphia likely had interest in his kick return abilities, mainly due to the struggle, we've talked about this, of John Mechie and Tank Bigsby. I honestly can see Philadelphia calling Quez up for the allotted 3 practice squad elevations over the next couple of weeks and giving him a couple of opportunities to mix in for John Mechie just to see if he can provide a spark. That's nothing against Quez Watkins. Glad he's back. I guess it's a practice squad spot. It's not a big deal. But I do think he's not here to even compete for a wide receiver job. Even though Darius Cooper is on IR, we talked about that. He's here to maybe, emphasis on maybe, be an option for kick return just because Bigsby and Mechie have been so darn bad. What I hope is no longer going to be bad moving forward, though, is the offense and the slow start of Saquon Barkley. Currently, right now, ranks as the 12th best running back in the NFL behind names like Javonte Williams, J.K. Dobbins, and Jordan Mason. Now, Barkley is getting attempts. He currently sits as, 2 carries back of Jonathan Taylor for the most in 2025, but the running lanes, they have not been close to opening up front. Whether that's because Landon Dickerson isn't 100% or KP's play calling isn't working, honestly, who knows? But Nick Sirianni emphasized becoming more efficient is the goal when asked about the rushing attack on Wednesday.
I wouldn't say there's one particular thing of it being efficient. We know we got to be more efficient with how we coach it, with how we call it, with how we with how we execute it. We want to be more efficient, all right, in the run game area right now. And I think there's many different ways that can, that could be a different scheme. It could be a different blocking technique. It could be the pass game. There's a lot of different things that could play into it.
Efficiency is one thing, and we keep hearing that word from Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni. I think, though, you need to be efficient. You also need to get the passing game going because, as we'll see, the passing game can really open up the running game for Philadelphia going forward. Teams have been selling out to stop Saquon. That's been obvious, really, from Game 1 against Dallas and should have been expected since Barkley was the rushing leader in 2024. Now, yes, Philadelphia, as mentioned, they're not blocking well, they're not executing, they're not as efficient as they should, but they're getting zero help from a passing game because it's been so inconsistent to start the season. I truly believe the passing game is going to help open up the running game if we can get it going. Philadelphia likely could have hit on some big runs on the ground in the second half versus the Rams, but they basically didn't run the football because they were down so big. And honestly, it sounds like A.J. Brown, he definitely agrees with me here.
I think we're probably going to continue to get what we're getting until we show that we can handle that. And that's what's probably slowing up Saquon, because they're trying to take him away. And obviously, rightfully so, because he can change the game. He can change the game. So we have to help him out as well with the passing game, getting that going to help the run game. Last year it was kind of like the opposite. So it's like, so now we have to do the opposite. And so it's just kind of taking longer to happen.
The good news is Philadelphia has another chance this weekend to figure out the passing attack, and they'll have A.J. Brown, and they'll have Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert, guys they didn't really have this time last year whenever they played the Bucs in Week 4. The focus, though, is getting it to be effective early in the game and not taking until halftime, really the third quarter, to adjust. Something A.J. Brown also talked about. They have got to figure things out faster when the game starts to unravel.
See, that's where I kind of messed up at, because those are my feelings and I express that to the world. So, but obviously, if that doesn't go that way, obviously everyone's gonna say AJ's not happy. But obviously, the goal is to win the game, and obviously we want to do that first. But like I was just saying, like I think it just kind of took too long for us as an offense to adjust and be more aggressive. When one thing's not working, I was just saying, like, let's not continue to keep trying to hit our head on the wall and see if it's gonna work. And let's mix it up and do what we need to do. So that's what I meant by that. And so yeah, I think it just kind of took too long to get there, or to adjust, I should say, with all of us, not just in some coaches, but players as well. We like to always say take what they give us, but at times, we're takers. We can take whatever we want, and just having that mindset, and that's kind of what I was kind of leading to after the game. Kind of got spun out of context, but that's cool too.
Now, moving on to 2 quick points here. First of which on the weather, and obviously Philadelphia's heavily documented choice to travel a day early to acclimate to the heat in Tampa, which, by the way, has risen to the mid-90s for the game on Sunday. And, well, Nick Sirianni, he's been adamant the extra day is going to help. Baker Mayfield, though, was asked about it in his press conference on Wednesday and said there's no shot.
Yeah, it's for sure an advantage for us. Not that we're, able to just withstand all the heat, but we got to tell ourselves we've been in it for a long time and we've been dealing with it for longer than the other team has, and so we can feel it. And that's when you got to tell yourself, and guys in the huddle will say, hey, we are not as tired as they are. We got to push, finish this one in the end zone. And so it's always good to have that somebody just remind you of that.
Personally, I agree with Baker Mayfield. Like, Tampa Bay plays there, they practice there. They're going to be way more acclimated to 95 plus, 100-degree weather, humidity, hot sun in Tampa Bay. I don't think one extra day helps the Birds, but I'm not going to argue with it. I don't want them to not go down early. I just don't know if it's going to help them as much as Philadelphia thinks it's going to. Either way, as long as they're not cramping in the second half and not playing in the fourth quarter like Jalen Carter and obviously Cam Jurgens did last year, then I think it's going to be just fine. I just hope the excuse after this week's game is not that they lost because of the weather. It's that they won and looked good regardless of how hot it was. Finally, and briefly here, because I don't think this is a massive deal and it's not going to happen, but Gardner Johnson continues to be in the news. A lot of people are saying Philadelphia should sign him. I've said no. Well, Nick Sirianni was asked the question at his Wednesday press conference, and he basically agreed. We love what we have, and we didn't want to take away reps from Drew Makuba.
I really am excited about the room that we have. I think they've done a really nice job to date. Got a good young player in Andrew Makuba, who's continues to get better. And I think that, having Reed, next to him, is helping him get better. And just as how Reed got better, having Marcus Epps in the building, and Reed said that, I've said that in here before about, Marcus Epps. So just really excited about that room. Sydney's doing a really good job. He's doing a good job on special teams and doing some work on defense as well. So I'm really excited about that group and pleased with that group.
There's also been plenty of confusion the past 24 hours on if Philadelphia can legally go ahead and re-sign Gardner Johnson because he was traded, and there was this whole idea of there was a 4-game buffer and rule where they couldn't re-sign him. That's been debunked. It's official. The Birds can sign Gardner Johnson if they want to. They're just not going to, because I've talked about that a lot, and it feels like they have no desire in messing up the camaraderie in the locker room or adding another safety because they like Makuba. And Sidney Brown, he's played a little bit and not been too bad either, but that's a story for another day. Either way, plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks. We are on injury watch. We keep an eye on all the injury news over the next really 3 days because I think there'd be some game time decisions, but we'll cover it here on the channel. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe. Leave your comment down below for the Jordan Spector, Jalen Hurts giveaway, the Jordan Spector, Cooper DeJean giveaway. Jalen Hurts is next week, so file that one away. Make sure you guys go ahead and enter because Saturday I will announce that winner, and this is your last chance. I'm Thomas Mott, hanging out here on a Thursday. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.